All right, here we go. This tutorial is going to cover putting on a site plan and sizing the site plan correctly, and also adding levels to your lake house project or any project. Okay, so you should have by this point put a background picture. I told you guys how to do this in class, how to put a background picture in with the scale on it, and you should be able to come up here to the measuring tool and save. Make sure you save. Come up to the measuring tool and click between 0 and over here it's supposed to be 57 feet. And you notice I'm almost there. It's 57.1, 57.3, somewhere there. That's pretty good. So 57 feet. It's scaled correctly. I have it in the middle of my 4 markers here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Vaguely in the middle. Okay. So of course you'd want to add a fence just to kind of show um, where the boundary of your wall is. Let's see. I don't think I have a fence started. You don't have to use a fence. You can make your own wall and call it fence, or you can use like a generic 5-inch wall, and you're just going to trace this out where your fence boundary is all the way around. Now remember, it's like a parallelogram. It's kind of hard to tell where it goes back here, but somewhere to here, I believe it's 87 feet. So somewhere on 87 feet, go back, and then this should be close to 57 feet as well again, and then back down to here. So you have like a parallelogram of land, you got it fenced off. These walls are defaulted at 10 feet right now. Yours might be 20 feet. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, depending on the sequence we did in class, we were doing the floor plans and then the site plan. So I'm going to start with the site plan though, because that's the ground level, or the ground level plan. And you look over here, I don't have any levels except for level 1. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go down to my elevations here. If yours looks like this, on elevations, just hit the plus sign, it'll open them up. And I'm going to double click north elevation. All right, so there's my fence right now. That's what I'm seeing here. These are my fences. So what I want to do, I only have level 1. It's at 0 foot 0. So that's the ground level. So I'm going to change this. Click it twice and change it to ground level. Now I need more levels. Say yes to this. More levels besides this. I need, if you're parking underneath your first floor level, like you have parking underneath, you need to have a second level, correct? Of course. Even if you're not parking under it, if you have 5 foot up for the floodplain, you still have to make a second level to start your first floor. So you're going to right click this and then go to create similar. And wherever you put this line, it's got a dimension that's following it here. I'm going to say 10 foot apostrophe. And starting from 10 foot, and you press enter. Press enter. Starting from 10 foot, it'll make level 2. You click here. And if I could do it again if I wanted to, do another one. And I am, because I have 2 floors. So I'm going to say another 10 foot. 10 foot. Something's clicking. Sorry. 10 foot. There it is. And that's level 3. Now, I don't want these to be called, I pressed escape a bunch of times to get out of that. I don't want these to be called level 2 and 3 because this is actually my first floor. So I'm going to call this one first floor, and I'm doing all caps. Say yes. And this one's going to be second floor. And so I can move these over by grabbing this point. It's kind of hard to get to, but you can move that point over if you want. It doesn't matter though. So second floor, first floor. Now, if you only have one large first floor, you might probably still need a second floor level, but you call it roof instead because that's your roof line. If you have 2 floors stacked on each other, you'll need even one more. You don't have to do it, but I think it's easier if you do one more about 10 foot up, if your floor is 10 foot tall, And this one's going to be the roof level. This will help you when you're putting the roof on. Roof, whoops, roof. Yes. Okay, so there's your levels. And this will help you when you're making your floor plans. I can show you how to do first floor plan. And then in another tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do the ceiling plans. But let me just show you how to do the floor plan. Depending on what floor you want to draw out, you'll double click that floor, first floor here. There's nothing there. I can see the fence below. So anything I draw on this floor is going to be first floor plan. Now, if I want to start the ground level and do the piers, I'll double click the ground level and I can start with my piers. So I can start putting piers in. I can either do it with the column or how I was telling people to do in class. You can do architectural wall and then just make like circles for the piers. So mine makes a little L shape like this. So I'm going to put the piers in like this. I got some pretty beefy piers for mine. Now, of course, you want to measure them out, not just put them in here wherever like I'm doing. I'm just showing you as an example. So here's my 5-foot piers. Now, if I click on one, it says it's going 10 feet up. Now, that's good for mine because my first floor is at 10 foot. Now, if your first floor starts at 5 foot, you need to change these walls to be only 5 foot tall because you don't want those piers going through your first floor, which would be bad. So there's my ground level. If I want to come in and put my first floor, I double click on first floor. And now I can add basically my floor, architectural floor. And whatever I draw is going to be at the first floor level, which is 10 foot above the ground. So if I draw a rectangle for my floor like this, actually I don't want to do that because I'll make it over my fence. So I'm going to do the line tool. And I can just make it parallel to my fence if I want. So I can make this my floor plan. Something like this. If you overshoot it, you can always trim pieces off later. Say trim this one and this one, and it'll trim it. So I'm making a generic first floor, 12 inches thick, this general shape. And see if I go to my 3D view, go up here to view, 3D view, I can see my floor here. Now this is just lines showing up. If you don't want them to show up right on your floor line, you can click the wall and put it down like another 6 inches to like 9'6" or something, and you won't see it. See there, it's disappeared now. It's still touching the floor. It's just a little bit below the floor. All right, so that is it for floor and pier making and also the site building part.